Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Shari Novick on the line, and she's co-founder and CEO at Vee. Shari, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adam. It's great to be with you this morning.
Great to have you on the show, and excited to get more into Vee and what you're doing in your mission. And just to get us kicked off, I'll start with our signature question. So, Shari, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Shari, what mission matters to you?
What matters to me and Vee is aligning people on purpose to unlock their individual and collective potential so they can fly higher and lift those around them.
That's awesome. And love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs on the line. And so maybe just to get us kicked off, tell us a little bit more about the company.
Sure. We at Vee help company leaders and organization leaders align their strategy and organizational capabilities with their purpose to drive change and accelerate transformation in 3 ways. We do it through organization design and capability development, focused specifically on the design and innovation space. We do global executive search and recruitment at large scale for those same areas. And we do purpose-led strategy, innovation, and organization consulting.
So what type of, just so that, and at the end of this, I'm going to give you, of course, an opportunity to leave your website or direct traffic to, so people can follow up and learn more. But just to make sure the right types of individuals do connect, like who's typically a good fit or who gets the most value out of working with you and your team?
Well, we do work with very large Fortune 500, Fortune 10 companies, and usually funded startups who are really at the point of being ready to scale for growth. And, recent example, if it's time to share that, would be a top global legacy automotive company that was in transformation to become a leader in the future of mobility space. And that, we're also working with a hardware software, a tech company, a storied one, you would know from the West Coast, who were the leaders in innovation when they founded that company. But with all the competition of the tech unicorns and the latest startups, they've had trouble accelerating or even transforming to begin with, and they need help with key skill sets and capabilities that our expertise brings to change the organization and drive that innovation and scaled growth.
Now, I don't want to oversimplify this, and obviously there's so much we can cover in, a 15-minute podcast episode, but I do know you've been doing this a long time, and I know certain themes tend to arise over and over. So what are some of the common themes that you've seen in your experience that cause businesses maybe not to accelerate on the transformation front?
Oh, I know it well. I live it every day with the greatest missions, visions, and statements, and all kinds of leaders from industry and government, as well as private, public and private companies, and even in the nonprofit sector. Everyone's talking about transformation and change and innovation. It's great to say. That's what we need to hear. However, it's very difficult in actuality, especially to implement, especially for those legacy corporations who, when I say legacy, I mean they've been in business a long time. Their culture, their processes often become the greatest barrier. People, being used to owning having certain spheres of influence. And that has to change when you talk about digital business transformation, because it's new skills and new types of leaders that have to be integrated and have to own certain parts of, for example, product development and customer experience management. That's what we find to be the biggest barriers to change.
So, there's a lot of people listening right now, and some of them maybe find themselves in some of those, what you're talking about, like they're kind of stuck on certain things and they know it. Is there any low-hanging fruit, like something that somebody can start thinking about like today to start heading on the right path? Obviously, there's no magic bullet or everything's not going to be fixed by one phrase or anything like that, but like just to start getting somebody thinking along the mindset of how that change can take place.
Absolutely. I would say I'm obviously going to double down on my own subject matter expertise. And I spent an entire career in the design and innovation space. I started out in advertising and marketing and learned about the power of design, not just to design things, but it's about the thinking, the design process that has been so widely adopted across, again, organizations, nonprofits, governments. And I'd say this is so critical today, the unique skills and capabilities that design with a capital D, as in a function, as in those kinds of capabilities that they bring, that this discipline brings, are table stakes now for any organization to adopt the 21st century mindsets and processes needed for this transformation I've been talking about, and to compete and gain support in the market for customers, for users, for talent, for investment, and simply for attention and awareness. And the reason design is so important now for all types of organizations is because design and design leaders and designers are natural integrators and change agents. They're the bridge between consumers and users, R&D and engineering, and marketing. And they help to drive adoption of the customer-centric, agile, and flexible ways of working that reduce development times and accelerate this digital business and organization transformation that is so critical, not just to compete, but really to survive.
So we've been talking a lot about accelerating and about transformation in organizations. Like, how does purpose or how does mission fall into the mix of all of this?
Well, I know we have limited time, but I just came across a really great statement. On the individual side, I came across an article from Psychology Today about the power of purpose and why a sense of purpose is so essential for our well-being. Well, the author, Steve Taylor, a PhD, says the need for purpose is one of the defining characteristics of human beings. Human beings crave purpose and suffer serious psychological difficulties when they don't have it. Purpose is a fundamental component of a fulfilling life. And in the business context, purpose has become an absolute corporate imperative to guide strategies, actions, and behaviors that increase focus on and commitments to things like diversity and inclusion, sustainability, and social impact. I mean, purpose is all about having a much bigger impact than your immediate role would allow, than the immediate work you're doing. It's what's the company's reason to exist, and how can it most benefit society?
That's awesome. Well, Shari, I'll tell you, this has been great having you on the show and learning more about your business and also having this conversation in general. So, final question. So what's next? What's next for you? What's next for Vee? What's next for the organization?
Yeah, our name, really the core idea of our company is embedded in our name, Vee, which refers to the V formation of migratory birds that take turns at the front despite no obvious benefit to the individual bird. Like them, we get the most lift and do our most impactful work when we're deeply aligned with others around a North Star that guides our strategies, culture, behavior, and decisions. Based on our research, we find that purpose must be clear and must be manifested in concrete ways to power the acceleration that comes when all the members of the team or the organization are flying in the same direction. So next chapter for us, is that we're developing ways and new tools to measure and align purpose, leveraging IO psychology, which is industrial organizational psychology disciplines, what we also call now today as our function, people science, to engage with our clients in the coming months. So we're going to have very exciting things to talk about and to launch, and to have clients and other types of partners engage with us to pilot. We're very excited about that.
Man, that is exciting. That's great stuff. And so people listening wanna connect, follow up, learn more about Vee, connect with you and your team. I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, firstly, please go visit our website at letsvee.com. That's just like LETSVEE.com. My personal LinkedIn, I can be easily found on LinkedIn. We have a Vee LinkedIn. I can be found on Twitter at Shari_Novick. And I'm on Medium as well. And also just email me directly, Shari, SHARI, at letsvee, LETSVEE.com.
Awesome. Well, again, Shari, appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and, of course, your mission at Vee. So love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs and executives on the line. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, especially if you're a first-time listener, hit that subscribe button. We have many mission-based entrepreneurs and executives coming up, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Shari, thank you again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. The pleasure has been mine, Adam.